Welcome to the October the 8th, 1996 taping of It Happened in Grand Prairie, as we bring you the history of our city and some of the people that have been very important to it in making that history, and they continue to make history today. We are very excited. This is the magic week for those that have ever attended or served Grand Prairie High School. The Grand Prairie High School Alumni Association is real up in arms and ready to go for this coming Friday night, October the 11th, for a homecoming celebration. And at that time, the Alumni Association and its president is Bonnie Stever Cockrum, and all of her officers, and we won't name all of those today, but they select outstanding alumni, outstanding educator, and sometimes they just get special people that they want to salute. This week they're bringing down the pike. We have two of them on the show to interview today. We're not interviewing the third one that's going to be recognized, but we'll probably at the end of the show tell you who they are. But we're just so pleased to have two very special gentlemen. One has been selected as the outstanding administrator, and we want to welcome to the set today Mr. Irwin Whitt. Irwin, welcome to the set.
Thank you, Lucy.
We're just so glad to have you with us, and we know you're an outstanding educator, and we're going to prove that in just a few minutes when we do our interview and let everyone in video land know how really exceptional you are and have been. Next, in the center, we have the status gopher, a young man that played as a substitute on the very first Gopher football team. And he is a stem winder still, married to a special lady that we're going to talk about, has an illustrious family, and still lives in Grand Prairie, Texas. And we want to welcome to the set Mr. L.E. Kiesler, Jr. L.E., we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Yes. We interviewed L.E. with a group of former football students several years ago, probably 3 years ago, and we're glad to have you back. But with your permission, L.E., we're going to take the outstanding administrator first and talk with him. Let's do that. Let's do that. Mr. Whitt, would you look out into your camera, and we just want you to tell us a little bit about Mr. Irwin Whitt. We'd like for you to name your parents, and then after you've named your parents, if you have brothers or sisters you'd like on this record, name them, and then we want to get down to naming your late wife and your family. And would you do that and look out and just talk about Irwin Whitt right now, would you?
That's not easy to talk about me.
Yes, I know that.
Well, I was born in Texas. My father and mother came from Alabama.
All right.
He was singing with Stamps Baxter Quartet. And he studied under A.J. Showalter.
Yes.
And my mother is Lily Virginia Whitt. Very precious lady. They both lived until they were 80 years old.
All right, your father's name?
Carl.
Carl?
Uh-huh.
Carl Whitt.
Uh-huh.
All right. Okay, and they came to Texas, and when they came here, did they bring anyone with them other than Irwin?
Yes, I was born here, but they brought my brother with them.
All right, and you would name your brother?
Melvin Whitt.
Melvin Whitt.
He lives in Garland now.
In Garland, Texas.
Lived in Grand Prairie for, I guess, 35 years.
I see. And you let him get away and move to Garland.
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Whitt, when you came to, they came to Texas, where were you born in Texas?
I was born on a farm in Fannin County, just west of Leonard.
Just west of Leonard. Was it a little community? Just out on the farm?
Uh-huh.
All right. And when you were a young man, where did you go to school?
This is no joke now, but my first school was Hogwaller.
Hogwaller. And that was in Fannin County also, and we had a Hogwaller here in Grand Prairie out near Florence Hill, and isn't that exciting? All right, and when you went on into the Hogwaller school, did you have a favorite teacher there that really meant a lot to you, that really gave you a good start in education?
First grade teacher, Miss Edith Fry.
All right. And then on from the elementary school, you went on where to high school?
Well, I didn't get to attend Hogwaller, but 4 years.
4 years at Hogwaller, and then where'd you go?
Then we moved to another farm.
All right.
And I went to the big city of Blue Ridge.
Oh, Blue Ridge, probably 300 population?
No,
or?
198.
198. And is that in Fannin County?
No, that's in Collin County.
Collin County. Okay, we're progressing toward the Dallas area.
Yeah.
Okay, and after that school at Blue Mound?
Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge,
Yeah.
all right.
Well, I finished high school there.
All right. And while you were going to school at Blue Ridge, did you have favorite teachers, favorite sport? What inspired you to go on into higher education?
Well, my parents were orphans, and I guess they encouraged me in education because even in cotton picking time, I was let go to school.
Oh, that's great. Yes, because a lot of parents did not let their kids go to school. Where'd you go to college?
Well, first college I went to was North Texas.
All right, North Texas State.
Yeah.
All right.
That was just after it changed from Dr. Bruce's normal.
All right. And then from there?
Well, I got the first degree there, and from there I was invited to be a member of Uncle Sam's team.
All right. And you went into what armed forces?
Navy.
Into the Navy, and were in the Navy how long?
5 years.
5 years in the Navy, and based out of?
Well, first I went to the recruiting station in Dallas as an enlisted man till I could get my weight down. I had applied for a midshipman school. Then I went to Notre Dame for 6 weeks, midshipman school, and then downtown Northwestern University in Chicago for another 10 weeks.
All right. And after you got out of the Navy, what happened to Mr. Whitt?
Well, from there, I was assigned to a ship in Key West.
All right.
And on the way to Key West, I convinced the purser that it was just as close through Dallas as it was through Little Rock.
Yes.
So I hopped off the train, and my wife, we had been dating 5 years. My wife and I got married, and then I hopped back on the train and went to Key West.
All right, and you would give us your beautiful late wife's name.
She was Mary Lou Reich.
All right, you want to show her picture right now that you have in your pocket that we asked you to bring with you today? Would you put that right by your tie so that maybe we can, don't cover her up real, that's good, and we're going to get the camera maybe to clue in on that. Now see how good a shot we have on that camera that's up there on the monitor? Now see there, isn't that wonderful? That's the magic of television, isn't it?
It really
That is so great. Thank you for sharing that picture with us, Mr. Whitt, because she was a very special lady. So you got married in Dallas, you hopped on the train, went on back to the Navy.
Went back to Key West. And
All right.
as soon as I could get quarters for her, I sent for her, and we had 14 months in Key West.
All right.
I was skipper of one of the YPs, that's Yacht Patrol, and I was lucky enough to get Barbara Hutton's old yacht, the old Atlantis.
Yes.
So I had it for the last 6 months.
All right.
Then we went to Miami for special training on PT boats and subchasers and destroyers. Then we came back through Dallas. Mary Lou hopped off the train, and I went on to San Francisco. Caught a troop ship to Noumea, New Caledonia.
All right.
I was gone 23 months.
Okay.
Then came back to Hawaii. Got relieved of command there. caught an aircraft carrier to San Diego and met Mary Lou in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Then we came home and I started teaching school again.
And where did you begin your school teaching career?
First year I taught at Aubrey, Texas.
Aubrey, Texas. And after Aubrey, where did you go?
I went to Greenville, Texas.
To Greenville, all right. You're hopping around a little, and after Greenville, was it time to come to Grand Prairie?
I had time to go to the service, and then when I came back,
All right.
I coached at Richardson High School when there was only one school there.
Only one school, okay.
And then the next year I went back to Greenville.
All right.
I was encouraged to do so by Mr. Chambers.
All right.
And he left Greenville and became superintendent here.
Yes.
And I consider him one of the smartest educators I had ever worked for. So when the opening came here, I came quickly.
And where were you assigned in Grand Prairie first?
First year I was assistant coach with Johnny Hill over at Lee Junior
Middle
High.
school.
Junior high.
Junior high then. Okay, and from Lee, where'd you go?
I went to Houston Elementary when it was open. I went to Austin Elementary School 2 years later when it was rebuilt from, it didn't have any steel in it from World War II. 4 years later, I went to Jefferson Middle School. 5 years later, I went to open Adams Middle School. 5 years after that, I went to the administration building and personnel.
Yes. Personnel director.
Yeah.
And what year did you retire from the Grand Prairie ISD?
1981.
1981. And you had a good time in retirement until we lost your sweet wife. All right, what you doing now, Mr. Whitt?
Well, I drank too much coffee.
Yes.
I've got my sleeping agenda reversed.
All
I
right.
had an inborn alarm clock for 41 years. I got
Yes.
up at 5:30.
Yes.
So when I'd retired, Mary Lou still went to bed her regular time, but I had the privilege of reading. Not like I used to do in the past. I didn't read even the Bible, to debate it, to argue it, enjoy and understand it.
Yes.
So I usually read till 12, 1 or 2 o'clock.
Yes.
So the next alarm came was when Mary Lou called me for breakfast.
Yes.
That got to be 9 o'clock.
Oh my. Oh my.
So since she is no longer my alarm clock, I guess you would say I get up at will.
All right. Well, the Grand Prairie High School Alumni Association was unanimous in the selection of you as the very, very outstanding educator for this year, and they're going to honor you not only at a reception at Grand Prairie High School about 5:30 this coming Friday, October the 11th, but then when it gets halftime, they're going to march you out on the middle of the field and do a salute to you right at the halftime situation. And we want to thank you for allowing us to do this interview with you, and looking forward to seeing you perform this coming Friday night.
Well, I want to tell how much I appreciate the alumni.
Yes.
I will tell them again, I can name them many others deserving of this honor. But I'm also honored by their selection, but I'm also even more honored by sitting here with you two.
Thank you very much. Now let's get to Ellie. Ellie Jr., a very special young man, and we're going to talk a little bit more, even though he was a football coach and did all this coaching and everything, we're going to talk more about your career as a Gopher. Tell us about the real Ellie Kiesler, name your parents, and I have all that down on this dossier, and I don't want to read that. I want you to tell everyone in video land about Ellie Kiesler, who your parents were and everything.
Well, my father was Ellie Kiesler Sr.
Senior, naturally.
I'm a junior.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
My mother she died when I was 10 years old.
10 years old. Would
And-
you give us her full name?
Her name was Lily Ann. Her name was Martin before she married.
All righty.
And they married in Marshall, and then later on she had the flu during World War I.
Yes.
And we moved to Grand Prairie, and that's when she died. And I was in the 5th grade then.
And you were in the 5th grade here in Grand Prairie at what school?
It was just one school.
Just that, you didn't
what are you
go,
talking about?
You didn't go to that big old red school that had 11 grades in it up there on College Street?
Sure.
Oh, you did?
Your grade school was downstairs and high school was upstairs.
I see.
You knew everybody in town.
Yes.
And we played where our football field was where the administration building is the street.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And they used coal to burn then.
Yes.
And they threw the cinders out on a football field.
The cinders? Those are hard
we had
as
cinders.
rocks.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of things happened there. Second year that I played football is a fellow named John Stanley.
Yes.
And we were playing Garland. And this Garland boy had a lineman glove on with a sewing. Anyway, it was where the needles and
in the glove?
inside,
Yes.
and inside, yeah, laced up in him.
Laced up in
and he
there?
was coming down on his head like that. So this John Stanley went out to the sideline and reached down and got the coach to put some tape on his hand and got a bunch of cinders, and he went out there and he started cutting him.
Oh.
And the next year,
Y'all played some pretty mean football, didn't you?
Yeah, you went all the way. Then you didn't. If you went out before half, you didn't come back in.
I
You
see.
played.
You
all the
played
way.
till you quit.
You played until, if you went out, you couldn't come back till the second half.
All right.
And they used to, instead of place kick like you are now, they used to drop kick.
I see.
And then some of them get to where they could drop kick from 50-yard line. Going through.
All right, now let's get back to you when you were in school. Did you have any brothers or sisters, Ellie?
I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Name them.
Well, my oldest sister's I own.
All right, all right.
Now she's 95 now.
All right.
And then my next sister was Kate Davis, Sam Davis's
She
wife.
passed away, yes.
She passed away.
Yes.
And my next one was Roger Kiesler.
Yes.
He passed away. And
yes.
then Carson Kiesler, he passed away.
Yes.
So it's just the youngest and oldest left.
I see. And is Owen in a retirement home?
No, she lives by herself.
Still lives by herself up there
And
on
what she's doing up on Hill Street.
Hill
and
Street?
She is.
in Northwest
She can't
7th?
get and 7th, yeah.
Yeah.
And she can't get around, but she's a family tree tracer.
I see.
And she talks to people all over the United States. And
Into
she's gone back-
genealogy, I see.
Oh, yeah, she's gone back to Charlemagne. They told her she had the most wonderful
Great.
record of anybody that turned in on Charlemagne.
Oh, that is
But
great.
that keeps her active.
All right, now when your mother died when you were 10 and in school, did your dad remarry?
No, we told him we wouldn't live with her. Well,
I see. Oh, you laid the law down.
and, well, they did. I was only 10, but
Uh-huh.
we lived together, and my dad was with the TNP Railroad.
What did he do now?
He was a telegraph operator for the TNP Railroad here in Grand Prairie.
Telegraph operator down at the old depot?
Yeah.
Really? Why did you let him tear down that old depot, Ellie?
Well, I didn't have anything to do with it. But then I worked for TNP Railroad for a while over in Dallas.
Oh, you
before
did?
I got in the lumber business.
Yes. All right, now tell me about going to Grand Prairie High School and a little bit more about the first year you played on that first football team.
That was something.
What place did you play? Were you
Well,
a
the first year
substitute?
I was substitute. See, I was only about, 14 years old, 15 years old.
All right.
And my 2 brothers played. One of them played center, and one of them played end.
Yeah.
But I was substitute. So but I got to play more than, you only had about 16
Yeah.
people at that time was on the team.
Was it 6 football, 6
No, it was 11.
11? 6 or 9
But you had to
or
go
11?
all the way. And,
All right.
And I got to play more than, they only lettered 11 men. And they didn't letter me. And I went to the coach and I said, why didn't I get letter? I got more time in than the man you lettered.
Yes.
He said, but this is his last year. He says, you got 3 more years.
So they wouldn't give you a letter that first year, but you worked hard at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what different positions did you play as a substitute?
Wherever they wanted to put me.
Okay.
Anywhere from tackle to guard to end.
How much did you weigh then? Were you a big boy?
Well, I weighed about the same I do now. And I was tough because I worked hard. And you stayed in condition then. I happened to take the first sewer at Grand Prairie.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, over at, there used to be a Texas Tire and Rubber Company here before it's that.
And you dug the sewer over to that Texas Tire and Rubber Company?
Out to where the sewers were.
That's hard work, Elliot.
Down in that digging with a shovel, yeah. And after I got through with that, they gave me a job as working and unloading furniture and loading it back up. There's a wholesale furniture store there.
Now, you did something in high school besides play football. Did you have any favorite teachers?
Oh, of all my teachers I had several of them, but I think the one I appreciated the most was our coach, who was also a history teacher.
And who was he?
His name was Benny Grimes.
Benny
and later
Grimes.
on, he taught him. And then he went over with Texas Employment Office when that started up, and he was head of it. But he didn't only coach you, but he taught you history.
Oh.
And he gave you facts. And it's so wonderful. After we retired, my wife and I both had him. We could go over and relate to those places, see them again, see them in person.
Yes. All right, now, you mentioned a clue right here. You says now you have a wife. Here we are having you playing football with Coach Grimes, and now all of a sudden you mentioned a wife. We better talk about her a little bit.
I better.
You better. You want to name drop who your beautiful wife is?
Cymbeline.
You want Neil?
And she used to be Neil, and her father was a Presbyterian minister.
Yeah.
And he moved here in 1918.
All right, now.
So she's always thrown it up to me that I'm a newcomer.
All right, I bet she is. And did she work for a living?
She taught school.
Where?
She taught him. She taught him in the Depression when they didn't give you money. They gave you scrip.
I see.
You waited until the tax money come in before you could cash it. If you cashed it, you had to discount it 40%.
What grade did she teach?
Well, she taught in high school. She taught Bobby Shanks.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And there's a funny thing. I had to tell you this about Bobby. He was having trouble with all the teachers except Sam. And the superintendent called him in there and said, Bobby, why is it that you get along with Miss Neal, but you can't get along with any of the other teachers? He says, she's my milk customer.
That made a difference, didn't it?
It made a difference,
yeah.
But,
he was an entrepreneur even back then, wasn't he? All right.
But she taught school, and she had the privilege of teaching under Irvin.
Oh, great.
And she
Sam down at Jefferson.
At Jefferson Middle School. That's great. All right, now, when you and Sam married, did you all have a family?
Oh, we got.
You better name the kids.
We got a girl, Mary Sam.
Yeah.
She's Jarrett now. She teaches over at Lee, and.
Does she have any children?
Oh, she's got two.
All right, let's name
and one
those
grandchild.
Let's name those grandkids.
Well, John is the oldest son of hers, and then Mike.
All right.
And then Mike has a baby now. And by the way, when he got married, I was the best man.
Oh, you were? That's right.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, that is something. Okay, and so you...
Then our son, Michael, married Nancy. Nancy teaches.
And Nancy's name was what before he married her?
Don't ask me that. Let me get it out of the file back there.
Right,
I know it just as well as I know anything else.
Sure.
But they have a daughter named Christina.
Oh, yes.
And this is her third year in the university.
So and Mike, what does he do for a living?
Well, I oughtn't to say.
Yeah.
He's also state district criminal judge.
Yes, he sure is, isn't he?
But he's also dean of the Judicial College of Judges for the state.
Oh,
and on top of that, he's on the faculty of the National.
That is
and this
great.
year he had the nicest thing happen to him.
All right.
Last year he was they asked him to come to speak to the International Border Patrol judges in San Francisco. Well, they don't pay him anything for that. I asked him, I said, what are you going out there for? He said, well, they pay my expenses. But they called him this June, and they asked him if he would bring his wife and daughter to Washington.
How great.
And he was to talk to them for 3 days up there, and there's 300 of those judges. And when they wasn't in classes, they were going to take them to all the places
all of
up
the
there.
tours. Yes, isn't that something? All right, now you've got to tell me just a little bit more about football. We know you have a family now. We know you got kids. We know you got grandkids. But now, how about a little bit more about this football? Of all of the coaches that you ever had, you said Grimes was your favorite coach?
Yes, he was. He was our first coach.
What did you play on the second year you were on the team?
I played in the second year.
All right.
And we had a coach. He come here and he said he got to see more football that year than he'd ever seen in his life.
And who was that coach?
His name was Matthews.
Mr. Matthews, Coach Matthews.
And he was taught history.
All right.
He used Nuke Rockney's
Methods.
method of. Had a book, Nuke Rockney, on plays and all.
Yes, yes.
And
all right, what'd you do on the third year?
third year I played halfback. Pardon me just a minute.
All right. Halfback the third year?
Yeah. And
was that more fun than any of the others?
I was having fun. And then last year I got to play quarterback. And,
oh, my.
And I got to back up the line on defense, you know.
Did you get to keep the same number every year, or what was your number?
No, I used a different number, yeah.
What was your favorite number that you got?
I forgot now. I forgot my
Oh,
numbers.
forgot your numbers. Oh, my.
But Masonic Home we used to play them some, and they didn't have very many. I don't guess they had over 14 players. But you know, they went to the state every year, but they'd lose out on the final because somebody get hurt.
And then they didn't have anybody for substitute.
They didn't have anybody substitute.
Yeah.
But they would, when we'd play them, they'd say, well, now we're coming right through here. And boy, they'd come.
Yes, yes.
But then, I don't know, the last year I played, in the backfield with me, we had 3 men that were about 10-second men. One of them run the dashes, and one run the high hurdles, one the low hurdles. Then we had an end that will run the 440.
We have just 1 minute left.
Well, all right, I'll have to tell you about up here. We went up to Handley to play one day, and we had that fast backfield, so they plowed up the field.
Oh, my.
We played on a plowed up field and beat them 6-0.
That messed you up. All right, other than Roger Dickey and Mr. Earl Bodine and Mr. Jack Douthit, are there any of the others that you have contacts with that played on those teams in the 1920s?
Every now and then I'll run into some of them, but most of them
those are the ones that live near us, isn't it?
Most of them are gone now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we want to thank Cymbeline for letting you out this afternoon to come and be with us. We want to thank Mr. Whitt for coming by and picking you up. And wasn't that wonderful? Y'all have just been wonderful, and no wonder you are the outstanding status gopher this year by the alumni.
I don't deserve it.
I know, but you're going to have to walk out on that field one more time, and this time it's not going to be in the cinders.
No,
okay?
won't have any cinders there, will
No cinders. Thank you very much, Mr. Whitt.
I want to mention, Mary Lou and I have one son.
Oh, and name him.
Eric.
Eric is your son.
Yeah.
All right.
And he and Beverly are going to make me a grandpa this month.
Real soon.
Something?
Well, I want to thank you all for being with us, and maybe at the next time we come to do this, we'll announce who the other alumni honoree will be.
Yeah.
And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do.